Hello. All right, perfect. We're going to start this with the Pledge of Allegiance. Or I'm sorry, let's call this meeting order at 7:30. But let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by Reverend Peter Moore of the City of Hope Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for Reverend Pete.
Can you guys hear it? I'm going to go let Don know that.
Good health and spirits. Lord, we pray unto them. In Jesus' name, amen.
I like it, nice short occasion.
Romans the 18th of April is what you took.
Good evening, everybody. Residents of the Park. Hopefully I'm not echoing at this time. And
You're on.
all right, thank you, Reverend Peter Moore. Right now, can we do roll call? Miss Carey?
Here. Councilpersons Dupre. Here. Higgins.
Here.
Kelsey.
Here.
Ross. Here. Tobin. Here. And Mayor Pro Tem Salcido.
Here.
Mayor Carnes is absent tonight.
Yes, thank you for that. All right, so mayor's remarks. I don't have much. The only thing I will say, I was on Pappas Drive in Southfield this past Saturday. I went to the Leo Collection. It's the new hotel. They had a soft opening. It was very nice. They plan on having a grand opening, coming soon. It features 82 rooms, I believe 4 jacuzzi suites, a continental breakfast room, and pending their liquor license, they're going to have a little bar for the patrons that go there. So it's very nice. It was hard to believe I was in Lincoln Park. It was a very nice motel. So that's all I have. Obviously, Mayor Carnes is not here, so let's get started. And resolve that the following items listed on the consent agenda will be approved as presented to the Mayor and Council. Number 1, approved minutes, regular meeting held July 6, 2021. Approved minutes, special meeting held July 6, 2021 in regards to traffic concerns. Solicit bids, band shell stage repairs, participation residential rehab, emergency sewer. Support. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Ross.
Yes.
Tobin.
Yes.
Dupre. Yes. Higgins.
Yes.
I muted.
And yes.
Kelsey.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Salcido.
Yes. All right, next item on the agenda is a public hearing. All right, this meeting will come to order at this time, 7:34. Mr. John Myers, do you have a little presentation?
I don't believe so, sir. This is in regards to, this is the,
1035 White.
Yes.
sorry. This is a request for demolition. It has gone before the Dangerous Building Board. We have followed its process with the Wayne County. In the Dangerous Building Board on June 24th, no one appeared, no one defended, no one denied the opportunity to take the building down. My recommendation to the Dangerous Building Board and approved unanimously that day was to remove the building as early as possible. So we brought it to council requesting a public hearing and a removal of this property, this building from the property.
All right, are there any comments or objections to the demolition of this structure? I imagine this will be open for public comment.
I believe you're supposed to ask if there's somebody there from that address.
Yes, is there someone here from 1035 White Street? don't see anybody. James? Is the attendance or the owner or any other last call for 1035 White Street to comment? Seeing none, I don't believe we need a motion to adjourn, do we, Carrie?
No.
Thank you.
If
So,
there's anything further to say, then you can go ahead and adjourn the public hearing.
all right, we will reconvene the regular meeting at 7:36. Thank you. All right, we have some action items. We have 11 of them. We're going to go with action item number 1, cover letter from Doreen Christian from the Committee Planning and Development. The purpose to approve the 2019-20 CDBG COVID-19 Round 3 budget. All right, budget impact, the CDBG-CV grant from HUD for COVID Round 3 is $178,712. Just a little background, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, CARES Act, Public Law 116-136 allocated the city $476,730 in supplemental community development block grant, CDBG funding, to prevent, prepare for, and respond to coronavirus. The city received additional funding in Round 3. To receive grants, funds must update our 2019-2020 Annual Action Plan, the corresponding environment review record, and numerous other forms with the Round 3 funding. These updates must be completed into HUD by August 16th. Now, resolved that the following proposed 2019 COVID-19 Round 3 budget is hereby adopted for the 2019 CARES Act substantial amendment. Plant-wide broadband infrastructure and services, $178,712. Be it further resolved that the 2016-2020 amended consolidated plan and the 2019 COVID-19 CARES Act substantial amendment be submitted after the 5-day public comment period ends. Do we have a mover?
So move?
Or
Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
So move, yes?
Tobin,
yes.
Dupre. Yes. Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross. Yes. And Mayor Pro Tem Salcedo.
Yes. All right, action item number 2. Before I go, am I still vibrating or is it okay right now?
We're good now.
Oh, good, thank you. All right, this is another cover letter from Doreen Christian, Community Planning and Development. The subject is to authorize revised home interlocal agreement designee representative. The purpose is to authorize the mayor to sign the Wayne County Home Interlocal Agreement for the 2021 through 2024 and appoint Doreen Christian, Community Development Director, as the designee representative, and James Kreizan, City Manager, as the alternative designee. The budget impact, this will result in additional funding from the federal government for the rehabilitation of homes, down payment assistance for first-time home buyers, and new home construction. Whereas a member of the Wayne County Consortia has decided to no longer participate in the consortia, and whereas it is necessary to execute a new interlocal agreement without that member's name listed. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor of the city of Lincoln Park is hereby authorized as the proper authority to sign the Wayne County Home Consortium Agreement dated July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2024, and any other necessary documents to ensure the city's participation in said home consortium, including all subsequent sub-recipient agreements. Be it further resolved that Doreen Christian, Community Development Director, is hereby appointed as the Home Consortium Designee Representative, and James Kreizan, City Manager, as the alternative designee. Also, be it resolved that resolutions number 2020-336 and 2021-185 regarding the previous incorrect versions of the agreement be and hereby rescinded. Looking for a mover.
So move?
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, clerk call the roll?
Councilperson Higgins,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross, yes, Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Salcedo.
Yes. All right, action item number 3. Also from Doreen Christensen from Parks and Recreation. Subject, award bid for replacement of Youth Center Park Pavilion number 2 cement pad. The cement under Pavilion number 2 at the Youth Center Park near the basketball courts has cracked cement that is raised. On June 21st, we solicited bids for the replacement of the concrete. 2 bids were received and opened on July 7th. Mojo Cement and Construction Company. The cement pad only, the bid was $9,200. Cement pad with footings from Mojo was $18,100. C&S Construction Management. The cement pad only their bid was $17,800. The cement pad with footings was $21,500. The recommendation, it is recommended by the review committee, Doreen Christensen, and Parks and Recreation Director Dennis Anderson, the Assistant Director, the Mayor and Council award the bid to Mojo Cement and Construction Company to replace the cement pad only. Whereas, the cement under Pavilion number 2 at the Youth Center Park near the basketball courts has cracked cement that is raised and needs replacement. And whereas the city has solicited bids to replace the cement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Mojo Cement and Construction Company be awarded the bid to replace the cement pad under Pavilion 2 at the Youth Center Park with a cost not to exceed $9,200. Funds to come from account number 249-042-75506, Parks and Recreation.
So move.
Support.
Any discussion on the cement pad?
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Tobin, Councilwoman.
What is the difference? I mean, there's a big difference in cost from just the pad to a pad with footing. Can someone explain to me what the footing would mean? Would that make it stronger and last longer with footing? Or does that make no difference?
Doreen, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. I finally got in.
Thank you.
The difference is we've already got footings there, and the way it was set up, we could use just the inner portion of the cement, which is what is raised and cracked, and not have to go into the extra expense because the footings are kind of separated in it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilperson Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Ross, Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Salcedo.
Yes. Alrighty, action item number 4. Once again, a cover letter from Doreen Christen. Subject, participation, and I think I'm vibrating, aren't I? Am I echoing?
Yes.
I definitely don't want to...
Try again.
Mike muted himself.
All right, thank you. All right, this is item action number 4, participation in the CDBG CARES Act Small Business Grant Program. A resolution to obtain the approval of mayor and council for the participation of one business in the CDBG CARES Act Small Business Grant Program. The review committee has recommended the following grant amount for this applicant. ACT Inc., DBA Zukin's Rib Shack, 962 Dix, for $20,000. The budget impact funds are to come from the CARES Act 2019 program year of the CDBG budget. Account number 249-001-976001. This will make 14 loans granted to the total of $215,000, leaving $85,000 available. Resolved that the following business be approved for participation in the CDBG CARES Act Small Business Grant Program. Funds to come from the CARES Act 2019 program year of the CDBG budget. Account number 249-001-976001. ACT Inc., in the DBA Zukin's Rib Shack. And I have had two addresses, but I believe it's 967 for the amount of $20,000. Be it further resolved that Doreen Christian, Director of the Community Planning and Development, is hereby authorized and directed to process the application.
Support.
We have a mover and support. Do we have any discussion?
Through the chair,
Yes, Councilman Higgins.
I just want to say that, Zukin's is a very long-time business in Lincoln Park, and I think I can speak for several people on the council here that their ribs are better than anybody I've ever had. I just want to, thank them for all they've done for the city over the years, and that's really all I've got to say. Thank you.
Duly noted. Anybody else?
Through the chair,
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Councilwoman Dupre.
I would like to second Councilman Higgins' statement, and they were down and did lose revenue because they couldn't find workers, and there were times they were totally closed. So, very good business for our city, so I think this is a really good investment.
Indeed, I agree with you also. Last, anybody else? All right, clerk, call the roll, please. No more discussion. Clerk, can you call the roll?
Certainly. Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes?
Ross. Yes. And Mayor Pro Tem Salcido.
Yes. All right, action item number 5. We have a letter from John Kazoo, the Director, Department of Public Services. The subject is City Hall Exterior Lighting Project to authorize the purchase of exterior light fixtures from Wyandotte Electric Supply. The background is for safety purposes, exterior illumination is needed around City Hall. Be it resolved that the mayor and city council hereby authorize the purchase of exterior light fixtures from Wyandotte Electric Supply to illuminate the exterior of City Hall building at at a cost not to exceed $6,699.72, and to come from account number 101-263-931000.
So move?
Support.
Any discussion? Here and now, I will add that I know there's been a couple lights that have been out and not working properly. I know Larry's brought that up before, along with Councilman Higgins, among other council members, I'm sure. So I'm glad this is finally happening. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Certainly. Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross. Yes. And Mayor Pro Tem Salcido.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, action item number 6 from Chief of Police Ray Waters. The purpose, the Lincoln Park Police Department is requesting the mayor and council to waive the formal bidding process and to authorize the purchase of 3 vehicles. The vehicles to be purchased will be 2 2021 Ford Explorers and 1 2021 Ford Expedition to be used for patrol purposes. The vehicles will be purchased from Signature Ford. Signature Ford is a My Deal dealership who participates in the state bid pricing. Whereas the Lincoln Park Police Department is requesting to purchase 2 2021 Ford Explorers and 1 2021 Ford Expedition. Be it resolved that mayor and council authorize the police department to waive the bidding process and purchase 2 2021 Ford Explorers and 1 Ford Expedition for a total cost of $110,457 from Signature Ford, a qualifying state bid pricing dealership. Be it further resolved, funds for the purchase of the 2 2021 Ford Explorers and the 1 2021 Ford Expedition to come from the police department's forfeiture capital account 265-320-983-000.VH04.
Support?
We have a mover and support. Do we have any discussion? Chief Waters, are you on the line?
If not, all right, we have no other discussion, so I guess call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Gray. Yes. Ross. Yes. Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Salcedo.
Yes. Action item number 7. This is to acknowledge the event Art in the Park. So resolve that the mayor and council hereby authorize the use of Memorial Park for the annual Art in the Park event sponsored by the Parks and Recreation Department. The art music event will be held on July 30th, 2021 from 5 p.m. until 11 p.m. and July 31st, 2021 from 12 p.m. till 11 p.m. at the Lincoln Park Band Shell in Memorial Park. Be it resolved that each peddler and/or vendor must submit the required permit fees as established by the Director of Parks and Recreation. Further, be it resolved that the event shall comply with Ordinance 666, let me start over. Ordinance 666.04 for noise. Looking for a mover.
Support.
Any discussion on this one?
Through the chair.
Yes, Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you. Do we know if, the food vendors, who verifies that they're licensed?
Very good question. I know they're supposed to go through City Hall, I believe, but is Doreen Christian, would this be her ballpark, or Maureen Tobin?
I can answer that. The food vendors submit to me, state or county licensing, that they're approved a food vendor. They also give me a copy of their insurance, and with us, the city of Lincoln Park on the rider, and they also give me, if warranted, fire inspections. So that all goes into the file with their application and their invoice that is paid. So there's nobody that's there that's not been screened and has correct paperwork.
Okay. And does the fire chief look at any of that paperwork?
If he wants to, yes. He basically just their inspection, if it's approved from the city of Detroit or from a fire inspection company, that's been good enough. Sometimes he sends somebody out to check on them. So he, whatever he wants to do. And I do believe I have 6 food vendors right now, 3 of which are not trucks, but they also submit the proper paperwork that's needed.
Any other discussion? I do have one question, Maureen. I don't know if you can handle this, or perhaps City Clerk can answer this, but the events at Memorial Park, the food trucks, they do have to apply at City Hall, don't they, to get a permit?
No, they don't. They're exempt.
Right, city events, they're exempt.
City events, thank you. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross. Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Salcedo.
Yes. Please bear with me on action item number 8. I don't have a cover letter, it's just a resolution, so here we go. Whereas the Dangerous Building and Code Appeals Board issued an order to demolish the structure located at 1035 White Street. Said order being issued subsequent to a hearing of the facts pertaining to this matter and identified as case number DBB 21-03, which was held on June 24th, 2021. In accordance with Section 144.04 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Lincoln Park, and whereas the Dangerous Building and Code Appeals Board has filed a report of its findings and a copy of its order with this council, in which each party having a recorded interest in the subject property. And whereas the City Council has established the date of July 19th, 2021, the date for a hearing to review the findings and order of said board. The owner or property of interest having been given the opportunity to show cause why said structure should not be demolished. and the council having duly held such hearing. Now, therefore be resolved that the said order of the Dangerous Building and Code Appeals Board to demolish and remove the structure located at 1035 White, Lincoln Park, Michigan, is hereby approved by the council of the city of Lincoln Park, and be it further resolved that the Director of Public Works is hereby directed to comply with the order of the board as approved by council after 20 days from the date of this resolution. And be it further resolved that the Director of Public Works shall determine the date of demolition and shall notify each party of interest as required by Section 1444.10 of the codified ordinances. And be it further resolved that the cost of the demolition shall be assessed against the real property on which said structure is located. Such cost shall be reported to the city assessor, who shall place said lien.
Support.
We have a mover and support. Any discussion? Is John Kazoo on board? Or I don't know if this would be a John Myers question.
I'm on board.
John Myers, quick question. I saw this property the other day. Is this a buildable lot once this is tore down?
It is. It'll be 42 feet across the front of it.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross. Yes. Dupre.
Yes.
Against?
Yes. Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Salcido.
Yes. All righty. Action item number 9. Resolve that the building department manager is authorized to solicit bids for the demolition of structures located at 1765 Fort Park. I take that back. 1765 Fort Park. I think I said it right. 1755 Ford Boulevard. 1412 Morris. 1533 Rio.
Merrill.
Is that Merrill Street or Rio?
No, you said, you called Merrill Morris.
Rio. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 1412 Morris.
Right.
1533 Rio and 1035 White. Said structures having been ordered demolished by the Dangerous Building Board. Looking for a mover.
So move. Support.
Any discussion? Go ahead, Councilwoman Ross.
I do have a question on 1412 Merrill. I'm sorry, it's not.
There isn't.
Thank you.
That one was back from 2019.
Right.
Council approved the resolution for demolition in June, but then in August, we all received a letter from the state, from the, or I should say from the Attorney General's office, stating that this is state-owned by the Michigan Land Bank, and therefore there cannot be any liens put on this one. So I just want to know, moving forward, that
We're not going to place a lien
we're
on it.
not going to get reimbursement for it.
Probably.
Supervisor.
That would probably be correct.
Okay.
We have our attorney, Mr. Zelnick. You have a comment?
Yes, I would like to have the benefit of that correspondence. I haven't seen it. Today's the first I've heard of it, but it could have just been passed through the bureaucracy over the past 2 years. And I don't know where the current status of the land bank is. We can make an inquiry, but if all it's going to cost the city to tear down the property is the cost of tearing it down to make it buildable and taxable either through the land bank or through the city, I don't have a problem with.
I can't hear you. You want to come up and use my microphone?
I'll come up to use another mic up there. They should be able to hear. My mic's on, Mr. Berinsky.
Don?
We're going to try it one more time. The microphone shows that it's on.
You want to come up?
I'll go up and use another microphone.
It's not the council chamber mic, it's the computer.
Come on up.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Well, here, you want to just sit here?
All right, I'll sit here because these mayor's running the meeting. Okay.
All right, our attorney, Mr. Zelnick, go ahead.
He has to unmute Mike.
You have to unmute, Mike.
Have to unmute.
Oh, sorry, that's technical stuff for me there. Right there. There we go. All right. I presume you can hear me now. My comment for the benefit of city council is that having not been provided the document, understanding that it's 2 years old, the city has to weigh the ethereal benefits Whether you pay for the demolition or let it sit and make the state take care of it, sit in the land bank in the blighted state it is today, or to demolish it and then run the risk of not receiving recompense. If the state has done nothing with the property in 2 years, and if indeed it is still in the land bank, and that can be determined by Mr. Myers in the assessor's office, council then makes the prudent decision to award the bid to tear it down or not to tear it down. However, the ultimate is the removal of blight, so council has to do a balancing test. That's a long way of putting it forward and saying to you that irrespective of the cost, you've got to decide what's in the best interest of the city in demolishing the structure.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I'll know, do we have to change the resolution? Carrie?
Don't go on.
Yes.
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Salcido.
Yes. All right. Action item number 10. Resolved that the residents of the 1400 block of Seacott between Fort Park and Lafayette be granted permission to have a block party on Saturday, July 31st, 2021 from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. under the following conditions. Number 1, the street be barricaded at each end and closed to vehicular traffic. Number 2, that the party be over by 9 p.m. or dusk, whichever comes first, and the street be reopened to traffic, per the recommendation of the police department. Looking for a mover.
So move.
Whatever way.
Any discussion on the block party? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Salcido.
Yes. All right, action item number 11. I'll just read a brief history. This is from the Senior Alliance. Dear Mayor Carnes, as you know, the Senior Alliance Area Agency on Aging 1-C, the TSA, assists people to thrive as they live, age, and grow. With that objective in mind, the Senior Alliance Board of Directors approved the agency's 2022 Annual Implementation Plan, the AIP, on June 24, 2021. The AIP outlines the agency's goals for Older Americans Act and state-funded services during the coming year. The State of Michigan's Aging and Adult Services Agency, the AASA, requires TSA to request a resolution approving our AIP from each of the 34 municipalities in our planning and service area. Whereas, the Mayor and City Council of Lincoln Park, Wayne County, Michigan recognizes the role of the Senior Alliance as the state-designated area agency on aging for southern and western Wayne County to be responsible for planning, developing, coordinating, monitoring, and managing a comprehensive, organized service delivery system of services for older adults and caregivers. Whereas the 34 communities of southern and western Wayne County, including the city of Lincoln Park, comprises the planning and service area to the agency's governing body. Whereas the Aging and Adult Services Agency, the AASA, require local area agencies on aging to request approvals of their annual implementation plan from their local governments. Whereas the Senior Alliance has submitted the plan to this honorable body in accordance with federal and state laws. Whereas the Senior Alliance has held a public hearing for client, caregiver, and service provider population feedback, which contributed to the development of the annual implementation plan for the fiscal year 2022. Now, therefore be resolved that this honorable body of mayor and council approves the annual implementation plan for fiscal year 2022 as presented to the city of Lincoln Park.
So move.
Support. Support.
We have a mover and support. Any discussion on the Alliance of Aging?
If I may, Senior Alliance is wonderful and it helps a lot of people. I'm grateful that they support it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Dupre. Anybody else? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross, yes, Tobin.
Yes.
Thank you. and Mayor Pro Tem Salcido.
Yes. And we did approve the Black Party, correct, Carrie? Yep.
Yep. The only other thing left is the accounts and claims payable.
Gotcha, thank you. And this is approval of accounts and claims payable over $25,000. All purchases of goods and services with a value exceeding $25,000 are subject to approval. A resolution has been prepared with the vendor's name, a brief description, and the amount of payment for your consideration. The proposed payments are for the dates of July 8th, 2021 through July 19th, 2021. A full listing of the entire accounts and claims payable has been provided to Mayor and Council for review. So resolved that the accounts and claims payable for those items greater than $25,000 be approved as follows. DUWA, $248,123.39. DTE Energy, $67,638.33. The GLWA, $203,484.94. The Lincoln Park Board of Education, $61,083.28. MERS, $219,314. Water Tap Inc., $43,360.70. Wayne County, $171,334.63. District Court, their monthly payment, $56,751.75. Looking for a mover.
Support.
Any discussions on accounts and claims payable? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Tobin. Sorry, she's muted again.
Yes, sorry.
It's okay. Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Salcido.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, the time has come now for the city manager report. James Karzan, please tell us what you have for us today.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to be reasonably brief, but just a quick update on a few things. I reported last meeting that we got our sweepers back up and running again. We're having another issue with them again, so the sweepers are down currently. Hopefully we'll get them fixed very soon. Just an update, Friday we had another raid event. There were approximately 2.38 inches that fell during the event. As I'm sure many of you saw, a lot of streets were flooded. A lot of the flooding took place early on, and then after a little while, a lot of the streets did see the flooding recede. A few were flooded for longer periods. We're still kind of looking at everything. As far as we've received so far, we had 16 reports of basement backups, and DPS has been out looking at those. But on a brighter note, the Ecorse Creek cleanup took place earlier this month. The first one, this was the July one. Between the two different sites, there were 37 volunteers who came out, and these volunteers collected over 1,000 pounds of garbage that otherwise would be still floating down the water. So that's really good. This year, a couple interesting things we found out on the creek. There was an inflatable giraffe. That was a pretty interesting one. A shopping cart, which isn't surprising. And then there was also a bicycle that we found. So a lot of weird things coming out of the creek. Sometimes you just have no idea how things get there. But thankfully they're not there anymore. If you wanted to come out and didn't get the chance in July, there's another opportunity, August 14th. We'll have a site at Council Point Park. And then the final one will be September 11th. Same thing. Just a quick note, this week, the COVID clinic, the COVID vaccine clinic at the community center was open today, but it will also be open on Wednesday from 2 until 8 p.m. So if you're still in need of a vaccination, I know we don't talk about it quite as much anymore, but we're starting to see new cases start to rise again a little bit across the country, a little bit here too. That'd be great if we could continue to see vaccination rates increase and we can get completely over this thing. And then finally, thank you everybody for your attention, your questions during the study session tonight for the ARPA plan. It's amazing to think about how transformative the next couple of years can be with this type of funding. Just the ability to get some of these things done that have been on the back burner, that have been, oh, if only we had funding to do this, if only we could. We're finally able to put some of those if onlys away. So this is going to be a really exciting time in the city of Lincoln Park. With that, I'm happy to take any questions you guys might have for me.
Any questions for James? Hold on, I believe Tracy Dupre first, then we'll go to Councilman Kelsey next.
James, over the last week, let's say, I've gotten a lot of calls and messages about the flooding. And quite honestly, I don't know what we as a city and council as a board can do for citizens as far as their flooding, and is there any relief that we can give them? It sounded like you said that there should report to you because you have a list there from what you just said. You have, I can't remember how many you said. So the first step, I'm assuming, would be to contact your office. Is that correct?
Typically, their first step, if they're immediately having flooding issues, they're going to want to call DPS if it's during the odd hours time. If it's after hours, they're going to want to call the police department non-emergency line so that they can get a hold of the DPS standby team. And when we've got to be careful, we also have to remember that there are two specific types of events, right? Flooding happens when water from the outside comes into the home, say through windows, through doors. Backups, I think, are the more significant issue that we've been dealing with, and that's when water is coming up through the floor drains or any other kind of drain in the house. And they're two significantly different issues, specifically for a lot of homeowners insurance as well. Basement backups might have some coverage usually, but if you don't have flooding insurance, you won't be covered. And as far as stuff we can do, a lot of times we find that unless it's a completely widespread issue where we're seeing a couple hundred homes, or homes in a lot of homes in one significant area, a lot of times the issues come down to something like roots in the service line, some other type of blockage there where as rainwater is entering the system through the footing drains, it has nowhere else to go. And then if we're talking about street flooding, as inconvenient and as potentially dangerous as it can be, you'll notice that a lot of times the streets will flood pretty immediately during a significant rain event, but the system usually is able to catch up. I think the two Johns, John Hennessy and John Kazoo, are on, and they could probably report better where we're at as far as water levels in the creek, and then where it flows downstream, the Detroit River and the Great Lakes. I think water levels have been down this year, especially compared to last, but they are still pretty high, so it does create an issue for draining our stormwater. But I think some of the major projects that we're going to do with the federal funding is gonna help alleviate some of the issues, help make things a little better. But we also have to remember this was a 2 1/3 inch rainstorm.
Yeah.
And we had 16 reported flooded basements or basement backups, whereas in years past, a rainstorm like that we could see even more. So there are improvements that have been going on it might not feel like that. And as somebody who has experience to basement backup, I know the pain, and it's not something you want to hear that there have been improvements, because to you in that moment in time, there isn't an improvement.
Right.
So.
Mr. Hennessy, do you want to chime in?
Thank you.
Mr. Hennessy, do you want to chime in before we go to Councilman Kelsey? Do you have a comment on what James said?
Sure. And James is exactly right. That's, historic, 10 years ago, we would have gotten a lot more basement flooding from a rainfall of this event. We've been able to really put together a comprehensive plan, which has been submitted to Eagle and been approved by Eagle, on how to really tighten up our system as best possible. And the funding that James is talking about is really going to make a big difference. These were a couple of critical infrastructure items that Mr. Gazoo and I were always somewhat very concerned would never be addressed, because we didn't have funding to address them. But normally when we have this limited number of basement flooding in a rain event like that, is somewhat of an isolated situation, whether it be our line or the homeowner's line. And what we always do, and Mr. Gazoo talking about this, is we check the system to make sure that we can see the water level within the sewer to see if it's our issue or a homeowner's issue through there. And so we got away a little bit lucky this particular rain event.
Thank you, Mr. Hennessy. Councilman Kelsey, go ahead.
Thank you. I just would like to mention that, and James gave a verbal on the E-Course briefing, but James was there a long time, Maureen was there a long time, Councilman Higgins stopped by, and it was interesting, the stuff that was pulled out, there was a turtle trap that was pulled out of the creek also. So it was interesting. I'd never seen one, and the DNR guy pulled it out. James had helped wrestle along the kayak to get it out. And it's amazing what things are in there. But just wanted to mention there was other people there that stayed a long time and helped out. And other people, I didn't know their names, but it was a good event. That's all. Thank you.
Any other questions for James on his report?
Yeah, through the chair, if I may.
Hold on, Councilman Higgins, and then we'll go to you, Maureen.
I've been asked by many residents, there is a rat problem in Lincoln Park. And I've had several people ask if they have caught live rats. They want to know if the city has a way of disposing them. And I really didn't have an answer for that. And also they want to know if there's anything the city can do for a rat problem. And I'm going to turn that one over to you.
Okay, so I don't really have an answer for what we can do with the live rat. I guess I can think of some things, but I'll try and find out some more information there. As far as what the city can do to address rat problems, Lincoln Park Pride can address the different blight issues and the various things that can help create a nice environment, if you will, for rats. These include things that rats need three things, right? Food, water, and a safe place to live. And it's not always just the piled up wood next to a garage that gives a nice safe place for the rats to live. Sometimes it's overgrown hostas, or not even completely overgrown hostas, but just nice, big, luscious hostas in the front yard. And just because a rat might be living in your backyard doesn't mean that's where he's eating, doesn't mean that's where he's drinking. Rats are a community problem, and they will require community solutions. It can't just be the city. Residents are going to have to also help out on this. And there are some various more solutions out there that are more creative. I've heard solutions of bringing in having people set up barn owl boxes in their backyard to try and attract owls that can then, we don't know with the rats And so that's a creative solution I've heard. But from the city standpoint, if we get a report about rats, we'd go out, look for obvious signs, but typically there's not a whole lot the city can do on its own. It requires the entire community.
Thank you, James. Councilwoman Maureen Tobin.
I was just wondering, of the 16 houses that you said had reported flooding through the last event, were they all located in a certain area? Because
I haven't actually seen the addresses yet, but the reports I was getting was that they were kind of sporadic throughout the city.
Okay, because I got a lot of contact with people down Grand, Monte, Seacott area, and I was just wondering if you, when you put that together, can you let me know? Thank you.
Any other questions for our city manager?
For the chair, please.
Yes, Councilwoman Ross.
James, could we put on the city's website for the residents the procedure, I guess, or steps of if your basement is backing up, or like if it's during hours to call DPS, and then after hours call the police.
If we don't have anything up, we definitely should.
I looked for it. I looked for something and I didn't see anything.
Truthfully, it could be on there and just very, very difficult to find. I think we all recognize the limitations currently of the website, which is why we're suggesting it's time to upgrade.
Absolutely.
All right, any other questions for our city manager, James Kryzan? Seeing none, we'll move on to the department head report. Today we have the DPS director and Hensley engineers. So John Kazoo, do you want to lead it off?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm hoping everybody can hear myself, John Kazoo. I'd like to touch base on the question from a minute ago. In the flyers, that the fall flyer will be going out. There is information on who to contact in regards to a basement flooding. The water report that was put out approximately June, there's information in that flyer. And then in the springtime, there's information on that same where to call, who to call, what times, if your basement's flooding or filling up. So we've got 3 pieces that are delivered to the homes that do address that. So with that being said, as Mr. Kazan has already told you, I'll expand a little bit more on the flooding that we had. That flooding was approximately 2.38 inches in about 2.5 hours. It lasted longer than that, but the major downpour was 2.5 hours. That's why it was so hard on roadways. And as far as the locations of those 16 homes, they're basically scattered. There are not just blocks of homes that backed up. And a lot of them are personal service lead issues at some of these homes. Our retention basin did bypass, and that had to be reported to the state. So with that, I'd like to go into my report. We provided a flyer, and I'm hoping that everybody has that. Starting out the streets, the coal patch tonnage was used for 2 months, 175 tons, pothole repairs, 326. Guys either replaced or repaired, 98. Hazardous branch removals, 46. Debris removal, 266 locations. Trees removed by DPS, 40, and majority of those were resultant of either wind events or rain events. Trees trimmed out by DPS, a lot of those were what I want to say around stop signs or by stop signs. Stumps we had to grind out were 40. Trees removed by contractor, and this is the old contractor, were 17. Trees trimmed by that same contractor was 0. Yard or site restoration, we had to do 58 of those. trees planted, your flyer or your handout says 95, but there was, in all actuality, there was 130 trees planted. Those included those to the grant that the mayor achieved at Council Point Park, trees that were planted through the DDA area out on 4th Street, and trees that the DPS received the grant for. So they all tallied up to be 130. Water main breaks, we had 22 of those in those 2 months. Fire hydrants repaired or replaced, 5. Leaking water gates, we had repaired 15 of those. Water service repairs, we had 19 of those. Ms. Duke called us approximately 350 for the 2 months. Sanitary, basically we had to pull a lot of rags out of pumps. We've got 13 pump stations, and we have to pull those flexible rags out of those. They do not only stop, block up, and stop our pumps, but they also create blockages in the homeowner sanitary service leads. Inline camera investigations, we did 23 of those. Routine maintenance of sanitary sewers and storm drains. The sanitary sewers, we shot 22 sewers for approximately 5,000 feet, and 34 of the storm drains for approximately 8,000 feet. Flood basement calls, and this does not include July. We had 44 calls. Call outs, emergency repairs for water and sewer combined, we had 95 of those. Animal shelter for buildings and grounds, we've been there for 45 different events. A lot of those, they were having water issues there. The band shell at Senior Center, we've been out there 21 times. City Hall 28 times. Council Point building, 18. But I'd like to do it for a second. I'd like to back up to City Hall. The rain event over the weekend, the basement did not flood up over the second floor. We had 3 to 4 inches of water, which is not even up to the middle of the bottom step. It did not come up and over 2 steps. It was 3 to 4 inches only. My DPS building, we had 7 issues here. Fire department, we had 21. Ice rink, there were 17. Library, there were 10. Out in the parks, we had 50. Police department, we had 65. Police maintenance, DPS fleet, we had 15 vehicles that we had to tend to. DPS equipment, 35. Fire trucks, 0. Police vehicles, 35. And we had call-outs for various issues out on the road, 12. The dispatch, what I want to call the call center, they basically handle water main breaks, green for leg, picking up garbage, trash can replacement, pothole repairs, street sweeping requests, cloud neck basins, sidewalk repair requests, basement flooding calls, street flooding calls, sewer backups, sinkholes, fencing not restored by contractors, hazardous tree removals and debris removals, tree trimming, tree removal, sidewalk repairs, street light outages, landscape restorations, sign replacements, lead pipe testing requests, gravel requests, call-outs for organic issues such as rodents, excessive trash, tall grass, weeds, stuff like that. We get a lot of calls. People don't know exactly where to call and who to call. One of the items that the city manager had talked about for a brief second, we had 4 street sweepers. We sent 2 of the street sweepers to Belly Equipment for brake issues. They came back, and now we've had other failures on those street sweepers. I have an outside vendor trying to repair 2 of our street sweepers. The unfortunate part is we're having problems obtaining parts. We had a large delivery of parts today for those 2 sweepers. We have 1 at Belly Equipment that is being repaired, and then we have 1 in our mechanic garage that is torn down, and we're trying to get that repaired. We haven't swept our roadways since April, and we're midway through July. One of the things that I'm going to discuss with the city manager tomorrow, I don't know when these pieces of equipment or these sweepers will be back up and functioning. It takes us minimum 2 street sweepers 1 week to make 1 complete round through the city. If I rent them, those 2 rentals are $3,300 per sweeper per week. And we will need 2 of those. That costs us $6,600, and it will take $600 to deliver them and $600 to pick them up for one, with a total of $7,800 for 1 week's usage. It's an awful lot of money for 1 week, but if we can't accomplish it with our equipment, we might be forced to do that. Look at the purchase price. Each one of those sweepers, and keep in mind we have 4 of those. You purchase a brand new sweeper, you're looking at $217,000. That's approximately $875,000 purchase 4 new ones. Sometime or other we might have to cross that bridge, but I just don't think that we've got that type of funding available at this point in time. So we're kind of between a rock and a hard place, trying to get these sweepers up and functioning again, because this fall it will require 4 sweepers to pick up all the leaves in the city. That's really about the end of my report. If anybody has any questions, by all means, please ask.
Any questions for Mr. Kazoo?
Through the chair.
Yes, Councilwoman Ross.
Mr. Kazoo, how old are our sweepers?
Approximately 15 years old.
What's the lifespan of a sweeper?
A lot of it depends on maintenance. It's kind of like a car. The better maintenance you have and availability of parts, you might be able to keep going for a while. I would think, around 12 years. But again, I think if you can do better preventative maintenance, you can probably keep them functioning longer. But a street sweeper is a very complicated piece of equipment. The condition of our roadways do not help them at all. You have a hydraulic system that elevates and also puts pressure on what we call a gutter broom. You also have a main sweeper in the very back of that sweeper. And it takes the gutter broom to move the stuff away from the curb into basically the underside of the sweeper, and then the rear broom, which is the same width as the sweeper, it picks it up and puts it into a hopper. When you hit a pothole, it messes up and or bends the hydraulic system. It really impacts the sweeper's performance. With that being said, brakes are another issue. Putting water down on the pavement is another issue. And an air conditioning system, because the operator is being inundated by dust. So it's a very complicated piece of equipment. I can find out a better life expectancy, but I think life is going to be dependent on anything and everything else, just like our bodies. The better we pay attention to our own bodies, maybe they'll last longer. Sorry about the long-winded explanation.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. And I want to say thank you too I know that the department had to work over because of the rain, and I want to thank you for that.
Well, I'd like to tell the mayor and council and anybody listening that I think the staff does an exceptional job on these rain events. It's a lot to take care of. And when you do get a flooded basement, whether it's raining pretty hard, or maybe the sun's about to come out, or it's after hours, once you find or receive a call on a flooded basement, what they have to do is they have to go into the backyards and look for manhole covers. They have to check the upstream manhole cover and the downstream manhole cover. They or if it's a homeowner's service lead that is flat. It's not an easy job, and it does take a while to do all of that.
Thank you, John. Any other questions for Mr. Kazoo?
I have a comment.
Councilman Higgins, go ahead.
I have a comment. I just wanted to say, after the past rain event, not this last one, but the one before that, there were several cities that called out for help, and we had several of our own DPS people stood up and went and volunteered their own time to help the other cities, and I just want to say how proud I am that we have people that do that, and congratulate our fine men over at the DPS, and thank you very much for representing our city.
Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else? Seeing nobody else, Mr. Hennessy, do you want to have a report, I believe?
Yes, Mayor Council, good evening. You know, as we all know, we're in the full throes of construction season here. So, I believe everyone has our report. We'll just hit on a couple of issues, and then we have Tiffany with our office talk about something that's very important to us is the leak detection pilot program that we have applied for. But before we get into that, just to address some of the construction issues, some of the projects that are ongoing from 2020's River Drive reconstruction, that's coming out in 2020 because it's state funded through there. As you know, we are receiving an 81% grant for that work. And then put the paving's done, everything looks real good there. And with regard to the overall bond act and Act 51 improvements, projects are going very well throughout the city. We've not received a lot of complaints from the public, and I think Mayor and Council should take some credit that the contract extensions that we provided early in the year have served well for us, because most of the projects are going along very well. We're ahead of schedule, and I don't think we'll be late into the fall as we've been historically with some of the projects through there. But we're here to answer any questions about any particular projects that any of the council members have. We'll move through all of them if you like. But, you know, like treating our they completed 4 roads, 4 streets to date. We're looking to complete potentially another street and that budget through there. And everything's going pretty well, all in all. And if there are no questions about the particular projects, I'm going to have Tiffany jump in and talk about the leak detection pilot program.
Go ahead, Tiffany, then we'll call for questions, okay?
Perfect.
Thanks, sir. So, yes, as John had mentioned, there's the WEWA leak detection program. It's a pilot program that's free of charge to the city that we were contacted about. As some of you may be aware, there's about a 30% loss in domestic water throughout our system. So with the technology that Utilis has, they're going to be able to, through satellite detection technology, hone in on the areas of where the leaks are and how big and widespread these leaks come out to be. So taking that data, we'll be able to overlay it with GIS and aerial road data to really figure out how or where these locations are, and eventually look at our capital improvement programs and see where we need to adjust to get these leaks fixed.
Very good. Any questions for Tiffany or Mr. Hennessy?
Through the chair.
Sorry, go ahead.
Ms. Ross, go ahead.
Thank you. I was just curious as to when we would know about this pilot program, if we were included in it.
Yes, so we've already submitted the city's name and information to be included in it. So like I said, it's at no cost to the city, so it's one of those that we jumped on right away and submitted the city's name.
Thank you.
That's perfect, and I'm so glad that you did. But when will we know if we were accepted?
And from everything I understand, we've already been accepted.
Oh, we have? Okay.
Very good.
Great. That's great.
That is true.
Councilman Laura Kelsey, Aaron?
No, Councilman Pro Tem, that was, she asked my question and she answered my question.
Fantastic.
I'm good.
Any other questions from council before we go to the audience? Seeing none. I don't know, Mr. Krazan, I see Sue out there. I don't know if we're taking questions from the audience.
I would just like to know how that satellite technology allows you to find leaks in the water pipes. How does that work? Can you give us a simplistic explanation? I find that fascinating.
So it's a non-invasive remote sensing, from what I understand. I guess I don't know the exact ins and outs of it, because we're not on that side of it. But as we get more information, we'll definitely provide it to the city.
That sounds incredible. Anybody else?
Well, you said it's a satellite. Is it something from the sky that is detecting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so something from the sky is finding the leaks?
Yes.
Area 51.
What is that satellite? Is that
God almighty. Well, it's a good thing I'm not mic'd.
How does the city access that, or how does Hennessy access that to find leaks? I'm kind of curious.
So this is through Great Lakes Water Authority, and they're partnering with Utilis, a technology provider.
Thank you, Tiffany.
As the equipment.
I'm sure it's pretty intense, and I know you're no expert on it. Probably some scientist in China probably knows the real answer to that, Sue. But well, hopefully we'll have more information down the line, okay? Because I'm interested too. Anybody else? Last call for Mr. Hennessy or Tiffany.
Through the chair, if I may.
Last call, Ms. Ross. Go ahead.
Thank you. John, is there any way, or please explain to us what you guys do to inform the residents when their water is going to be shut off? Because, of course, we're still getting some of those complaints.
Tiffany, do you want to handle that with our lead service lead?
Yes, so we notify the residents at least 48 hours in advance. We print out flyers, and they're hand-delivered to every homeowner, door to door. So everyone's notified in ample time that water will be shut off and for the duration. So usually it's anywhere from 4 to 8 hours maximum during, a lead service line replacement.
Okay. I'm wondering, James, do you think it'd be okay to put something like that on our, like an announcement for that day when the water's going to be shut off also, just to kind of have backup information out there?
Yeah, I think we could probably get something out.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Very well. Anybody else? Last call. Thank you, Mr. Kazoo and Mr. Hennessy and Tiffany. Thank you very much for your report. At this time, we're going to move to citizens' communications on city-related matters. This public comment period is an opportunity to share concerns or present topics to the City Council. This is not an opportunity for dialogue or debate with council, but council may make referrals or request staff to follow up. So it's also a 5-minute time limit. James, can you see how many residents are ready to chime in?
Leslie Lynch Wilson. If I may, I will go first.
All right, Leslie, thank you. Come on in.
Hi. I just want to remind everybody that the farmers market is ongoing every Sunday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the southwest corner of 4th Street and Southfield Road. We are growing this year. We have a lot of new vendors, new items, and we have food, so come for lunch. We've got this great food vendor that offers various lunch items every week. Hot sandwiches, cold sandwiches. So you get a combo for $10, which includes a beverage and hot cold side. So be sure to stop out at the market Sunday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Thank you, Leslie. I do like your background, by the way.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Listen,
Go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to ask if there being a couple concerned residents in certain areas around the city, we were just wondering if we know of known fractures or infiltration in the main sewer line. Is there ever going to be talks of fixing that?
I don't know if you want to call John Kazoo on that one. I don't know if he's going to reply at this time, but Mr. Kazoo, do you have an answer briefly? Did you hear the question?
Mayor Pro Tem, I can jump in there.
All right, Mr. Hennessy, thank you.
Yes, but if anybody in the public sees anything unusual with infrastructure, whether it be a sinkhole, water coming out of the ground, what have you, please contact DPS immediately or during off hours, the police department non-emergency number, and they will contact the right people. We take all this extremely seriously. We jump on it right away, depending on the severity of the situation. We are, we're only as good as the eyes and ears that we have out within the community to look at the infrastructure with us. And all of us know when we see something that just doesn't look right. And don't feel scared to call about something that's a non-issue, because we'd rather have it be a non-issue than have it be an issue that we have to deal with later. So we address it immediately with Mr. Kazoo's office.
Thank you, Mr. Hennessy.
Yes, was that Thomas McMillan? Just out of curiosity, please state your name when you do talk, please.
Yeah, I said this was Thomas McMillan. Sorry.
Gotcha. I probably didn't hear it, Tom. Thank you for calling, though. Anybody else, Mr. Krazan?
If I may.
Name, please?
I am resident Tim Bruna.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor Tim Broll, and also City Council. On behalf of my neighbors again, my family, and myself, I want to thank you for furthering the issue of making our neighborhood a nicer place. We really appreciate all your efforts and everything. And also all the other city employees, including our wonderful city clerk. I want to thank you guys for keeping us safe and keeping the city together, especially when we have issues like we did last week with all the rain and the flooding. Thank you, and I wish you all a very wonderful evening.
Thank you, Tim. Anybody else, Mr. Kazan? Last call for citizens communications. Anybody out there? Would that be nobody, James?
It looks like it.
All righty. I guess we'll go to all reports of the mayor and council, starting with Councilman Higgins.
Thank you. And the first thing I want to say is I want to thank our council president for filling in tonight, and for the first time he's done it. I know I've having chaired the meetings before. It's kind of nerve-wracking the first time, and congratulations on a good job. I also would like to remind everybody about the farmers market on Sunday. Leslie already spoke about it. It's come a long ways. They've got good food now. They've got several vendors. For the people who have been waiting, the bread woman is back. Come on out. Double chocolate banana bread. You can't go wrong, I'm telling you. I'd also like to remind everybody that concerts in the park, if it doesn't rain, because, 2 weeks in a row, let's not have any rain so we can have our concert in the park. Come out, have a good time, and that's all I really... Oh, yes, I also wanted to comment about the Leo collection, the hotel over on Papolis Drive. They've done a soft opening. Some of the rooms are open, not all of them. They are still doing some repairs over there. They gave me a nice tour of the place. It is absolutely going to be beautiful when it's done. They still don't have the pool up. They still don't have a couple other things up. But it's going to be a very nice addition to our city. And the outside looks absolutely wonderful. A couple patios that are going to be beautiful for the city, and I'd just like to welcome them to the city, and I can't wait till they are finished and fully opened. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Councilman Higgins. Councilwoman Ross, what you got for us today?
Did you call me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to let everyone know that the Lincoln Park Community Resource Guide has an updated copy on our website. I have the employment opportunities for our city. We have an accounting coordinator, crossing guard, full-time firefighter, full-time mechanic, full-time police officer, part-time community events coordinator, and a part-time recreation attendant. Please pass that information along to anyone you know that may be interested. And from the Historical Commission, on Saturday, August 14th, from 12 to 4, the museum will be hosting an opening reception for the Chuck Miller's Mobile Masterpieces exhibit, a tribute to Mr. Miller's custom auto design career. For one day only, Mr. Miller is bringing some of his original creations to the museum grounds, including the legendary Red Baron custom hot rod. Mr. Bob Lavari Sr. will be in attendance to sign his brand new book, Hot Rod Dreams, as well as his Hot Rod Detroit, a complete history of hot rodding in the Motor City. DJ Matt Fink Strickland will be providing music. Jack White's Third Man Records camcorder will have its mobile record shop on site. And also attending are members of the West Side Rod and Customs Club with their vehicles. So mark your calendars and join us at the museum August the 14th from 12 to 4. Did I mention that it was free? It's free. So for lots more information, because there really is a lot more, please visit their website. And I just wanted to repeat a couple things that we heard tonight, and that is that there is still $85,000 in CARES money for small business, for the small businesses in grant money. And if you have not yet received your COVID vaccine, don't forget that it's right here in our city. We have it, a COVID clinic at the community center. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ross. Councilwoman Tobin, what do you got for us tonight?
Well, hi everybody. I have been out of town up north and I missed all the rain down there. I'm glad it wasn't as severe as it could have been. I'm grateful for that. I want to address the concerts in the park. We've had to cancel 2 concerts. I want to explain the reason for that. We used to be able to bring the concerts indoors. Unfortunately now, at the Memorial Building, Room C is not able to be used because of issues with it. And Room B is where the kids program is. And we have classes on Thursday nights in Room A. So with the room down and the other room being used, we have no place to move the classes around. So we're not able to move indoors during a rain event on Thursday nights. With that being said, this Thursday we have Shatter, a Rolling Stones tribute that we'll be playing. I know I'm praying for no rain. At the end of the month, we have Art in the Park, July 30th and 31st. We've got approximately 30 vendors, food trucks, bands. We've got some really great vendors this year. We got great food trucks, so come on out for that. Lincoln Park Stays is a go at the end of August. That is being planned, and we've got some exciting things for you guys this year. Other than that, like Lillian said, please remember the COVID clinic at the community center. It's important if we all want to get back together and we want to get out and we want to be safe, that everybody gets vaccinated. And that's about it. Everybody just stay safe and enjoy your summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Dupre.
Good evening. A few announcements. Tomorrow there's a board review meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's the assessor's office going over the errors that they found. It's been quite some time because they couldn't get together for COVID, but I talked to Bob and he said it's to correct all the errors that they found while they were doing their job. So yay. I do have some news about the 2 marijuana dispensaries that have now passed their site plan review with the planning commission. We have the architectural drawings for one, and we're waiting for the other. This means that they can now get their inspections and start pulling permits and doing the work and moving forward. So there's been a lot of concern about these businesses, and I just want to let everybody know that they are moving along. We're waiting for them on some things, so that's a good thing. Other than that, I did want to announce we are having 2 grand openings at the end of the month. One for La Pita, which has been in business for some time, and the food is really good. They're having their grand opening. And then Fast Signs, I can't remember what the date is, but it's 2 days before, I think, the 28th, I think it is. And with that, I wish you all a good night, and God bless.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Kelsey, what's up for today?
I appreciate that. Just a quick point real quick. A lot of years I've been on council before, I was always concerned about the I-75 Dix corridor, how crappy it was. And it wasn't our responsibility, it was the state and the county. Well, make a long story short, I haven't let that issue down. I've contacted everybody again, and I've got a hold of the guy from the, if you want to call it the DPS of the county. He's bringing a crew out tomorrow to walk the area of I-75 and Dix to see what the county's responsibility is to get some of that grass cut that's probably about 4 or 5 foot tall. It should have been cut a long time ago. This issue's been going on for 7 years, so this guy assured me tomorrow he's walking out with his crew. I still haven't got a response from the state. I emailed them and called and stuff like that, and I don't know if it's because they're on vacation with the elected officials or what, but I was on hold 40 minutes with the governor's office today and never did get through. They never did answer my call. So, make a long story short, don't get upset when you see the county down there. They're just looking at what they're going to be responsible for is pick up the debris, and hopefully we get this corridor, which is a main artery that comes into this city, looking better than it has been for 7 years. And again, it's not the city's fault, but hopefully we can get the county and the state together to do what they got to do and clean up some of that debris down there. And if you ever drive by there, it looks like a mess. It's been that way for a long time. The grass is horrendous. And anyways, just like give everybody an update, to let you know so nobody panics. Wayne County crew went down there looking to see what their responsibility is, and I'm waiting for the state to find out what their responsibility is. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, I guess that concludes our reports from the mayor and council. I want to thank everybody in my closing remarks for putting up with me today. This is kind of nerve-wracking at first. I'm looking at all the mayors before me on the pictures on the wall, and for me to be up here today being a Lincoln Park boy, it's quite an experience. So thank you, Mr. Zelnick, for being here, and everybody who called in today, and all the reports that were here. And with that, a motion would be in order to adjourn.
So move.
And support.
Support.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Ross, yes, and Mayor Pro Tem.
Before I say yes, I want to thank our city clerk also, Carrie Kerr. I came in this morning and we went over the agenda 19 times. And thank you for your patience. 17, and the coffee. So I say yes on adjournment.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.